Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at and installing our Roadmaster smart diodes on our 2025 Ford Ranger. The 5 main components you're going to need to get started in flat towing is you're going to need a base plate, you're going to need your tow bars, you're going to need safety cables, you're going to need some type of braking system, and you're also going to need some type of tow bar wiring. Roadmaster smart diodes are going to get you going down the road safe. They're going to give the signals for everything that you're doing while you're going down the road. So it's going to keep you legal, and it's also going to keep you where people behind you know what your intentions are. It's going to give you your tail light signal. It's going to give you your brake lights. It's also going to give you your left and right turn signals as well. So instead of having the wire draped over your truck with the magnetic lights on the back, this is going to be a permanent setup that doesn't have all that. All you're going to have to do is plug in your RV from your RV to your truck, and you're set to head down the road. So as far as the connection between your RV and your vehicle, it's really simple setup. All you have to do is plug in on your vehicle and into your RV, and you're all set to go down the road. Now, we do have 2 kits available for this. If you don't have one of these cables, you can always get one in a kit form that has it with it. Now this one that we have here does not have it with it, so there are a couple options available for that. So if you have any questions or comments about this diode wiring for your Ford Ranger, you can always leave a question or comment down below in the comment section, or you can get a hold of one of our experts here at eTrailer. They'd be glad to help you out. Now, as far as installation goes, it's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit of wiring, but nothing you can't handle yourself. But if it's something you don't have time to do yourself, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and get something done for you locally. Now, if it's something you want to tackle yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To start our installation of our diode wiring, we have everything opened up and I've got my wire. So what I'm going to end up doing is just get my wire ran to the back and get it routed and tied up. And after I'm all done with that, we'll show you how we routed it. Now the way we have our wire ran is we just kind of tied off up here to where our plug's going to be and left a little extra so we have room to work with that when we're going to get ready to get that set up. Now what I did is I ended up peeling back most of the white wire that comes off of it, and I'm going to use that to ground underneath of the hood. So we're just going to leave this laid loose for now. We ended up coming out around our frame, up underneath here, came through, and ended up coming over to where I found a hole in the frame here, and what I ended up doing is running all the way back, almost completely to the rear. And what I did is I ran it inside of the frame so it'll be protected all the way back. With it running inside the frame, it's well protected and it's not going to get any heat from the exhaust. So we ended up running up, and then we ended up coming out right over back here on this side of our frame. So we came out of the frame on the inside and ended up coming up over our rear cross member on our frame, and we tied off to a factory wiring harness that runs on top of our frame, and ended up going and tying off occasionally. You can see where we just tied off with some wire ties all the way back and went above our cross members in the rear as well. Then ended up coming out here on our passenger side where I have my 3 wires split off. Now with our brown wire, we need to end up having 2 wires coming off of this. We need this wire going to run across, and we're going to need a brown wire to come up off of this one and up in to our passenger side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a jumper. I'm just going to cut this wire, and I'm going to strip off both of these ends. Now I have some extra brown wire, which will be my jumper wire. What I'll do with this is I'm going to twist these 2 wires together. Now I'll take a heat shrink butt connector and get that put on over our wires and crimp that in place. Give that a little pull, make sure we have a good crimp, which we do. Now I'll take the other end of my brown wire, just get that stripped off a little more, twist that up, and we'll run that into our heat shrink butt connector and crimp that in place as well. Now what we'll do with this longer wire is we'll run that all the way across with our yellow wire, and we'll leave our green wire and our jumper wire to go up in our passenger side. Now what I'll do is I'll come back through with my heat source and I'll heat up my butt connector and we'll get that shrunk into place. So after we ran our brown wire and our yellow wire over, we have them hanging here. Now, what we did is we went ahead and found our plug-in that goes up to our taillights, and we went ahead and tested our plugs. And inside of here, we have our one on the very end, and that is going to be the gray wire with the orange stripe, and that is going to be our turn signal wire we're going to need to tap into. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pull back and cut down this sheathing carefully, and then I'll end up peeling this open so I have a little more wire to work with. In our kit, we're going to have our white wire, and we're going to have a ring terminal, and we're just going to take one of our ends off of our diode. What we're going to do is we're going to make a ground wire that's going to come off of our diode. So what I'm going to do is just strip off both ends of our wire. Get that twisted. Now we'll crimp on our ring terminal. Now we'll strip off the other end and we'll put on one of our connectors that come off of our diode. And we'll crimp that on as well. Now that we've done that, we can take that and put that on where it says ground. Just want to get that pushed onto there and make sure you get that in the inside of the connector and not around the edges of it. Now we'll just take one of our self-tapping screws and run that up into our ring terminal. So we tested our wires and we found out that our blue wire with the green stripe is going to be our brake signal. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut that one in half and we're going to strip off both ends of that. And go ahead and get those twisted. Now we're going to take our connectors and get them crimped into place. Now we have our brown wire and our yellow wire. I went ahead and got those crimped on and in place. Our brown wire is running to the RV tail in, and then we have our yellow wire that runs over to the RV brake in. We have our white wire that runs up to ground, so we have that grounded. Now on this side, we're going to have car out, so we're going to run the plug side onto that. So that's going to run towards our plug. Then we're going to have our other side that comes from our wire harness that's going to go to the car inside. Now on our passenger side, we're going to basically do the same thing. The only difference is the wire is going to be different. On this side, it's going to be a blue wire with a kind of a light brownish stripe. We're going to do the same thing, just cut that one in half and make our connections. On our passenger side, the wire colors for our brake light going in, and then our green wire, which goes in for our RV in for our brake signal. So now, all we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to do to our car outside, we're going to connect that towards our plug. And our other side coming in from our harness will go to the car in. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and plug our connector back in. And now I'll just leave everything loose until we have everything connected and tested out. Now we're back at the front of our vehicle and we have our bracket in place, and we went ahead and we got our wire coming out, and we went ahead and ran our charge line out with it because we're going to need to hook this up at the same time. So all I'm going to do is go through and just carefully split all of these wires to where I can pull these apart. Now we'll just come back through and strip off all of our wires. Now on our plug, we're going to have these marked around here, and you can kind of see what they have. We have RT, which will be right turn. We have TM, which will be trailer marker. We're going to have GD, which will be ground, and we'll have LT, which will be left turn. So now we're just going to go through our wires, and we'll start off with our ground, which will be white. Just want to back our screw out. Take our white wire after we have it twisted up and get that put into that slot. And when we do this, we want to make sure that we're not biting into the wire sheathing itself. We want to make sure that we're getting wire. Now for the LT, we're going to run our yellow wire. Then we'll run over to our RT, which will put our green wire. Then we'll run over to TM is where we will put our brown wire. And for our ground, we ran our white wire up here to the front, and we found a ground terminal right here, which is for the factory ground, so we went ahead and ran with that. Now this is a post style, so all I did is found a washer and a nut that would fit this and just ran this right down on top of that. And that will give us a really good ground. Now that we have everything hooked up, we have it hooked up to a test box, which you can do at home. If you don't have a test box, you can plug yours into your RV and give it a test that way. So what we're going to do now is just go through our box and check all our lights in the back. Now we'll turn on our tail lights. Those are working. We'll do our left turn. We'll do our right turn. Now we'll do our brake lights. And all of our lights are functioning in the rear. Something that's a good idea to do after we get our wiring all connected and everything's working is come back through with some silicone sealant and just want to get over all of our posts. And then after we do that, we can put our boot down over that, and then we'll fill up our boot with silicone as well. And that was a look at the Roadmaster smart diodes on our 2025 Ford Ranger. I'm Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.